Welcome back into the 143, episode 33, coming at you live.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are back again. And for those of you that are watching on YouTube, notice our pretty flag.
We have a flag behind us.
That's right. It is our very own under review flag.
It's been a long time coming to get this flag. We've been talking about it ever since the start of the podcast, and we decided, you know what? Send it. The viewers will appreciate it. So we hope that you appreciate it as a viewer. As a listener, appreciate it as well, okay?
Just know that it's here, okay?
We know you've been awaiting this episode anxiously, probably knowing it was coming at some point. This is our Dallas Cowboy season preview show.
That's right. This will be one of the first of many episodes where we talk about the Cowboys. And this is...
And only the Cowboys this episode.
Probably this is starting off basically the NFL season for us, because...
Next week we'll probably be talking college football since the season starts this weekend.
Yeah, but we're right at the beginning. We're almost there.
We gotta hit on the Dallas Cowboys, because not only are they our team and America's team, but they are the number one team that's talked about in the NFL through all sports media.
Absolutely.
And pretty much everything.
They're the most relevant.
They're the most expensive. Worth over $7 billion.
It's like 7.4 or something.
Yeah, and yet we don't use any of that to pay players. Except we're gonna go into that in just a second.
Or pay for a better coaching staff.
Or just pay for anything. We have a lot of money, but we don't really know where exactly it goes other than Jay Jones' pocket.
Yeah.
We'll get into that here in a second,
goes
though.
To his helicopter and whatnot.
Yes, private jet, yacht. Okay. Anyways, we're going to go in with the stat of the week, brought to you by our sponsor, Andrews Logistics, and it is about our boy, Zack Martin, one of the few reliable men on our football team. Zack Martin, who is one of our guards, our best offensive lineman, has more Pro Bowl appearances with 7 than holding penalties with 6 since he entered the league in 2014. That's more Pro Bowl appearances, which takes course over the season, than holding penalties in his entire career.
That is absolutely insane.
It's crazy
that
because
just goes to show
our line is
how good
amazing at holding.
Yes.
That's their strongest.
That's what the Cowboys are known for.
Holding.
Breaking off big chunks of plays and then them always getting called back. That's just what we love to do.
It is a problem.
I remember last year that would happen a ton. It would be like the first play of the drive, and it would just get murdered because of the holding, and then we'd end up punting.
We had the most holding calls in the NFL.
I mean, that doesn't surprise me.
It didn't surprise me. We had the guy with the most holding calls.
How are we fixing that? Well, we're drafting players that
are also
lead college in holding penalties, so I would say we're not really solving the problem.
We are getting rid of holding on our team by bringing on people who are amazing at holding. That's what we're doing.
Obviously, they know something that we don't.
Apparently, they do.
Because personally, that's not the route that I would go.
I agree.
This goes without saying, but Zack Martin is obviously our player of the week because he has to be. Yes. He had, as Joseph mentioned, 7 Pro Bowls, and he's also 5-time All-Pro. That is only one less than his holding calls, which is absolutely insane.
Little tie into
because he may surpass that.
He probably will after this season.
He should. He deserves it. He's a surefire Hall of Famer.
Yes. So
in my
he's
opinion.
The only guy on our team right now that we're like, Zach's going to the Hall. It's not just us. A lot of people. Zack Martin's going to the Hall of Fame. He should be first ballot. He should be.
Yes.
So Zack Martin is our most reliable guy on the offensive side of the ball. And I would agree. He's a veteran.
The consistency. He's been consistently good every year. He's stayed healthy for, I would say, I'm looking at all the games that he's played, and he's stayed healthy for just about all of them.
Yeah, he's not really had any big injuries.
Mm-hmm.
As opposite Tyron Smith, who is injured every season and is out for the first few months of this one.
Already.
Tyron Smith is old, and he's amazing. Don't get me wrong when he's on the field, but he's just never on the field anymore. So now we're having to find somebody to replace him in the left tackle spot, which, if you've seen Blindside, is the second
most very, very important
position
to be sound at. And unfortunately, we are no longer sound at that spot.
We are sound at right guard with Zack Martin.
That's facts.
But We need to revamp the O-line because they used to be called the Great Wall of Dallas.
That was back in the Super Bowl days. Obviously, we're nowhere near that.
Exactly.
With what we have right now.
Well, kicking off, Cowboys season preview. Nick, what do you like about this season going into it? You feel good about anything?
I would say the only thing I really feel good about is, I can't say it's the offense because we're struggling. Obviously, we're losing linemen, right? We lost Amari Cooper, and we're expecting CeeDee to be number one, and we lost Cedric Wilson as well, who I thought was
very good number two
who did
option.
we gain? We got the Steelers wide receiver four, in James Washington, and then we're getting guys from the USFL. So what I'm confident in is our defense.
You gotta be confident in our defense.
That's really the only thing I can be confident in.
And they carried last season. They did. They were the reason that we made it as far as we did and won as many games as we did.
I would agree, 1,000%.
They shut down the Commanders.
I am excited for the Micah Parsons sophomore season.
I think he'll be amazing. Like our defense. This is how bad our offense is and how good our defense is. The defense absolutely destroyed the Commanders' offense, and the Commanders are pretty bad. Commanders, aka Redskins. For those of you that don't know who the Commanders are,
yes,
they used to be the Redskins. They're the Commanders now. The Cowboys' defense destroyed their offense, and yet it was only a 6-point game at the end, 27-21 last season. That was one of them. We blew them out in another one, but that's just
the
an
one
example.
That we played at home. We just dumped on them. That was.
But that's a rare occurrence, guys. I think the biggest thing this season, and it should be the biggest thing every season, we are always so pumped when we whoop up on a bad team. That's our biggest thing. Jerry Jones comes out, yo, we're amazing. We're going to the Super Bowl. This is what we've been promising y'all. Mike McCarthy comes out, says the same thing because he's a robot, basically, for Jerry Jones. Mm-hmm. And then we play a good team and we get stomped or we lose by a little bit just because we are lacking a clutch gene on our team.
That's a fact right there. And the problem with last season was, we lost the first game of the season against Tampa Bay, but I feel like
it was a moral win.
Let us off the hook because they were like, this was Dak's first game back in forever. It's game one. You were playing Tom Brady at home. You stuck it to him, and also
we were projected to lose by 7.
If Greg Zuerlein can make a kick,
that's true.
Then
we would have won.
We're sitting pretty, right?
We definitely would have won. I can tell you that. But after that, we started off strong like we normally do, but we had an Arizona Cardinal-like season where we just fell off in the second half, and it was so embarrassing. And you could tell the whole season we lost our momentum after Dak got hurt, came back for the Broncos game, and we got absolutely stomped by the Broncos.
The thing was, I think our defense was consistently good throughout the season, but the offense was just so up and down. There was really no consistency there. You couldn't even really rely on the offense
couldn't.
Yeah.
We got to be at the playoff game, and it was like every time the offense got the ball, it was literally just like hoping that we could do something with it. There was no confidence whatsoever.
The first 3 drives were 3 and out.
We started off terribly. We're lacking, like I said, the clutch gene. We have like maybe 1 or 2 guys that'll clutch up, but the number one guy you need to clutch up in situations like that, when you're facing a bad team, is your leader, is the highest paid guy on your team, the quarterback, Dak Prescott. And he did not step up last season when he needed to step up.
I agree.
That's not a shot at Dak. Dak's good. Dak has not proven himself to be worth the money that we paid him. And I'm hoping, I don't root against him, I'm hoping this season he proves everyone wrong about everything they're saying, comes out, wins the division, wins at least 2 playoff games. I think he's going to be in the hot seat if he doesn't make it to the NFC Championship.
He's a great guy off the field, and I think he is a good leader.
He's a great Cowboy quarterback.
But the thing is like the performance on the field just never has me sold on Dak.
He's not a great thrower of the football.
He's lost a lot of mobility, obviously.
Before his thing was running and throwing, and now he can't
injuries. Like he's had ankle stuff haunting him for these past 2 years because obviously it came up again against the Patriots and put him out against the Vikings last season.
Yep.
And so obviously his mobility is down a lot, But I also question his throwing sometimes as well.
His throwing during the playoff game was absolutely terrible. I will tell you that. And he is only good. Last season, he was only good when we were down in the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter when it didn't matter and we were already losing. That's when he showed up.
Well, that was the same thing with the Cardinals, too. The offense didn't show up till the fourth quarter. The fourth quarter, our offense played phenomenally, but it was
we were already down.
We're losing. We've already lost the game because y'all weren't here the first 3 quarters.
The defense played so great, but you can't expect the defense to go out there every time. The NFL is such an offensive league. You can't expect them to shut them down every single time. And we did not do that when it mattered most. We didn't do it against good teams. We definitely didn't do it against the Broncos, and they weren't even good then. And we did not do it against the 49ers, and that cost us our playoff hopes. Every year we as the Cowboys fans feel like this is our year. Last year, that was the first time I ever actually felt like that was our year, and we blew it. And we've talked about that over and over again this offseason. But I think one of the things I'm tired of hearing from the coach, from Jerry Jones, from just the sports media, from the Cowboys is talk about Zeke, talk about Dak, the guys that haven't lived up to their expectations, or the guys that everybody says are going to be amazing, like Jalen Tolbert, which he could be good, but we haven't seen anything from him, right? Or like CD hasn't proven himself. He led the league in drops last year. So they come out and they're like, Zeke's looking better than he ever has.
Well, they say that about every single guy, and honestly, I feel like you said Dak is going to be in the hot seat. I feel like Zeke should be as well as
should be in the hot
Mike
seat.
McCarthy.
Mike McCarthy is on a very big hot seat because I don't think Jerry's going to take out. I think Nick and I are both predicting that we don't perform that well this season. We just don't have the pieces to do it. But
we couldn't do it last season, and
we had way more talent.
On pen and paper, I think we were one of the best teams in the whole NFL, talent-wise and skill-wise, but just for some reason, we couldn't translate that into the game.
And Jerry's going to take that out on Mike McCarthy after the season. Now, I really hope that the Sean Payton rumors are true. I hope after this season, when I'm pretty sure we disappoint everyone.
Such a great pickup.
Got to get Sean Payton. And you got to pay him whatever because the coach's salary does not affect, it doesn't come from the salary cap. It doesn't affect how much you pay the players. You've got to pay Sean Payton $25 to $30 million a year.
He's so valuable. His knowledge of the game and the way that he's been performing, to bring that to Dallas would be amazing.
But to bring him to Dallas, Jerry would have to give up some of the control. Because Sean Payton is basically a GM, and Jerry is basically our GM. So Jerry would have to step aside and just own the team, which, by the way, just owning the Dallas Cowboys is not a bad gig.
He does a great job of that.
Yeah, he's
made us the richest sports
he bought them
franchise.
For $100-something million. They are worth over $7 billion now.
Yeah,
he's done an amazing job.
Great job at that. Just do that and let someone else run the team.
He does a great job drafting as well, but he gets so involved in the season, puts so much pressure on coaches to do what he wants, and they have to. He's the owner. He's their boss.
Yeah. That
they can't execute. I think Mike McCarthy could do a little bit better if he didn't have Jerry just constantly telling him, hey, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to play this guy. So I think it's time for a change in the front office, and I think that change is Sean Payton.
Well, because I don't think I've ever really seen a Cowboys team in my lifetime that has been dominant. That I would say.
We have not.
Obviously, the last time we were dominant was in the 90s.
Dominant meaning championships.
The 90s. That's 20 years ago.
I was not alive in the 90s. Nick, were you alive in the 90s?
I was not alive in the 90s either.
I kind of wish I was alive in the 90s because I would have loved to see some Super Bowls and appreciate them. We're kind of starved as Dallas fans. The only championship we've lived through.
Dallas fans, period.
We just
all across the board.
Yeah, we got to be alive during the Mavericks winning in 2011, but we were 10 years old. I mean, it's hard to appreciate how once in a lifetime that is, and so we're starved for some success that we can appreciate. And now we're in the business. We're in the business of sports, so we want to see a sports achievement from Dallas. I want to see it.
But it just does not look like it's going to happen that way
anytime soon
for any teams.
Not the Mavs, definitely not the Rangers, not the Stars, not the Cowboys.
No.
And I don't really know about, the only Dallas person / team that's making us proud right now, Scotty Scheffler from Highland Park, and he's killing it in golf. But other than that, and that's, I mean, it's golf. Not as many people pay attention to it.
No one really cares. I'll say it.
I wasn't gonna say that because I do care. That's why I just mentioned him. I would have mentioned him if I didn't care. Anyways, the Cowboys just need to get it together, guys. We have gone 26 years of saying we're gonna win it every year, and we don't even come close. We go average every single.
I just feel like the organization, mainly Jerry, okay, needs to just like wake up. You know, understand that we haven't been good in forever, and that I understand that you have done it this way for the last 30-something years, however long you own the Cowboys or whatever. But you got to understand that times are changing, the game is changing, and
it's already changed so much.
You're going to have to figure out how to adapt.
I would say
Jerry just wants to keep everything the way that it has been.
You got to be like the Rams. The Rams have done a great job of just spending money. They don't care. They have spent so much money on free agents, and guess what got them? A Super Bowl. You've got to go out there and you've got to be willing to spend money. You've got, let's just be honest, the Cowboys have a ton of money.
It's because Jerry likes to pour into the guys that he drafts, and when he
draft a good guy every single time,
he just like he refuses to let them go. And
it's kind of like it's like
with free agents, he like doesn't really care.
Exactly. That's why Amari's not on our team.
Take Amari for example. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
It's just. Like Amari wasn't like, I don't know, he was kind of deteriorating, but he's way better than anything we've got going right now. We are completely, without Michael Gallup out there, we are completely just no experience except for James Washington. I don't think that counts as experience because he's not going to be playing. I think he's hurt too, actually.
But looking at our wide receiver core, like I don't see anybody that could really be the dude. Obviously, CeeDee's expected to be that guy, but from what we've seen last year, I don't really know if I trust that.
I have a hot take on CeeDee Lamb. He was given the number 88 way too early. Way too early.
I agree with that.
The number 88 in Dallas signifies greatness at the wide receiver position. You've got Drew Pearson, you've got Michael Irvin, you've got Dez Bryant. All three Cowboys legends. That's why the number 88 is held in kind of like a reverence on the Dallas Cowboys. And they gave it to him his like rookie year or his second year.
Yeah, they just let him have it. And
he wasn't even he's not an outsider. He was a slot at the time.
You have to earn that. You got to do something to earn that. And I'm
not saying he can't
anything
earn it.
from that.
Go earn it by all means, but I don't think he's earned it yet.
This is, you know what? This is, I'll give him that. This is his chance. The 2022 season is his opportunity to show everyone that he deserves to be 88, that he can live up to the hype, and that he can be the Cowboys' number one wide receiver.
He has had
so go out and get it,
very
please.
Bright moments. Like we've seen a lot of great talent from him, so he can get there. I think he's got all the potential in the world. There's a lot of pressure on him right now. Hopefully, he can live up to the pressure. He did come from OU. That school is, that there's a lot of pressure playing for OU. School was held to a championship level every year. They never make it, but they're always held to that. And so I think he's got a lot. This whole season, we're not necessarily trying to knock everyone on the Cowboys right now, but this is like a sense of urgency. We need a sense of urgency. Like Dak, your job is not secured. You could be out next year if you don't perform this year. Cowboys fans are already not happy with you. Zeke, I would say his last chance should have been last year, but you get another last chance and you will be out after this year, no matter what kind of contract you have. And
yes, absolutely.
Cutting. CeeDee's not going to be out, but CeeDee, this is your chance to be the number one receiver, man.
You got to prove it.
Like, this is what you get paid to do. Go out there, be 88 for the Dallas Cowboys, and you've solidified. All you got to do is, Jerry, one good year. One good year, and you're on the team for 5 more years.
Yeah, I was about to say, Jerry will love you forever.
Zeke had one good year. Dak's had one good year. I know the stats. Dak's got good stats, but those are a lot of garbage time stats. We, at Under Review, hold the Cowboys to a Super Bowl standard, even though we've never seen it.
That's how we hold every team, is to a championship standard, because that should be your goal. You throw everything else aside. The only thing that matters is if you're winning a championship.
Exactly. And so you can't say, we had a good season last year. No, you didn't, because you didn't win the Super Bowl. And you had a pretty bad season in general. But, the Bengals, they could say, we had a great season last year. You lost at the end. Nobody remembers second place. So what is one of our favorite quotes to use on the show?
If you don't win the last game of the season, nobody cares.
Exactly. So I don't want to hear about how good the regular season of last season was, because if we're really going to talk about that, you can only talk about the first 8 games.
I couldn't care less about that. We went 6-0 in our division. Great. I'm glad. We were in one of the worst divisions out there.
They're a joke.
But in the grand scheme of things, where'd that get us? A first-round exit.
And we're coming in this coming in the season, it's a clean slate. Don't even think about last season. No need to think about last season. Mike McCarthy doesn't even think about it. Dak, Zeke, none of the guys need to be thinking about it. Micah doesn't need to be thinking about it either, even though he had a great season.
Yeah.
This is the only one that matters, and we have a chance, not as much of a chance, but a chance still to win our division again, put us in the playoffs, and then we can worry about the weaker NFC teams then, because we're not as good this year, the NFC.
Well, the other thing is the Eagles a lot of people are putting them as division winners.
That should make us mad.
It should, because
we're not supposed to like the Eagles.
We should be on lock. We should have the NFC East locked down. Obviously, the Giants are trash. Commanders are trash.
Yeah, we're still in a weak division.
We should beat both of those teams twice.
Both times, yes.
So we should go 4-0 against those teams.
And let's be realistic, we have a pretty easy schedule.
I agree.
The first few games are not
very much
easy.
so have an easy schedule.
The second half of the season, when you want it to be easy, is actually pretty easy. Mm-hmm. We've got kind of what we wish for. I think the second half of the season, we played the Eagles, and that might be the only decent team.
I'm predicting for our division,
the Packers.
Obviously, we'll beat the Giants twice. We'll beat the Commanders twice. I'm thinking at the most. Okay, I think we'll beat the Eagles. We'll split them. We'll go 1-1 against the Eagles. And we were talking about this the other day. I think the key to finding success is get the momentum started early. What I mean by that is we should steal one of the first 2 games.
We talked about this in the scheduling episode. If you can steal the Buck, honestly, best case scenario, you win against the Bucks. That way, you've beaten one of the top NFC teams. Mm-hmm. You have that win for when the playoffs come around. And then the Bengals, obviously we want to go 17-0, but realistically, if you lose to the Bengals, it's not the end of the world, because they're not in our conference. So I say split,
because the Buccaneers that win would mean something, obviously, because
if we had beaten them last season,
when it would come down to it, we would get the better seed.
If we'd beaten them last season in that one game, the first game, we would have taken the number 2 overall seed, and that could have changed some things in the playoffs. Maybe at least one win. So you've got every game matters. We were thinking to split the first 2.
Obviously, feel free to win both. I'm not going to say anything if you do.
But I think realistically, since we're here at the end of the show, let's give our predictions for the season. Everybody's saying 9-8, 10-7. That's an average season. I'm going to go a little bit higher. I'm going to say we go 11-6. Because I don't think we're winning as many games, but I think we have an easy enough schedule to where we can win 11.
Well, because we play the Lions,
Jags,
we play the Bears, we
Texans.
play the Jags, we play the Texans. Those should be 4 easy wins right there. Those are 4 extremely weak and garbage teams. The Jags are struggling.
The only amazing teams we play.
The Texans are struggling. The Lions, the Bears, they're all so unsound at every position that we should
not lose one of those games.
So that's an easy 4.
You should beat in the teams that we're predicted to lose to, that we might lose to: Bucks, Bengals, Rams for sure. I don't have a whole lot of confidence in that one. And you should win the Packers game, because that's a huge rivalry, and we don't want to see that lost.
In my mind, I see 8 gimme games. Those 4 that we just mentioned, the 2 against the Giants and the 2 against the Commanders. I could see us definitely winning against the Eagles, but that's unfortunately not going to be a gimme game. We're going to have to fight for that. And then steal a game against the Bucks or the Bengals. Maybe steal a game against the Rams or something. I don't know, but I would say 11-6.
11-6.
11-6 or 10-7 in my mind is realistic.
I agree. Now, obviously, if we can get
12-5 is just I don't see 12 wins.
Bengals came out of nowhere last season. If we could have a season like that,
well, that's what I was going to say. Is the other thing is just get into the playoffs, right? Because that's all that mattered for the Bengals. They had a kind of janky record or whatever, but they just
10-7.
barely squeaked into the playoffs and got to the Super Bowl. Obviously,
went on a run.
In the end, they didn't win it all, so no one cares.
But they could have.
But
they had a chance.
It came down to the very last play of the game, right? That 4th and 2 or whatever.
I'd rather be in the game than sitting at home.
Facts.
I mean, I don't want to lose, but I'd rather watch my team lose in the Super Bowl than my team not be in it at all.
Then watch them lose in the first round.
Exactly.
Or
especially the way they did.
Absolutely.
Let's go Cowboys.
So, basically, Jerry, you need to change yourself. You need to fix something. Fix the Cowboys right now. Okay? I better wake up tomorrow, Wednesday morning, and see some news, that life-changing news about the Cowboys.
After you listen to this episode.
Yes. So, here's where we like to end our show on Under Review. We brought to you a quote by a famous Cowboy that has already been mentioned once this episode, Mr. Tony Dorsett.
Yes.
I'm a strong believer that you practice like you play. Little things make big things happen.
Take that to heart, Cowboys. That is the truth. Take it to heart.
And that is coming from a man that knows what he's talking about.
Let's go out there.
Hall of Famer.
Let's win a Super Bowl. This has been your Dallas Cowboys preview show, and we look forward to the season. Obviously, we'll be bringing you all weekly updates.
The goal is to take the division. If we take the division, we're chilling.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Cowboys Nation, let's ride. Sorry, that was really cheesy.
So corny.
Shout out to Danger Russell Wilson. Come on the show anytime you want, man. Thank y'all so much for tuning in this week to Under Review. We always appreciate it. Go give us a follow, a like, subscribe, comment, buy some merch. Do whatever you want to do as long as it's with us, man. We will see y'all next week on Under Review.